Hey friends, it's Anna and welcome to my July bullet journal setup. This is my first plan with me in this beautiful new notebook from Archer and Olive. This is their Swan Pond dot grid journal. I'm in the A5 size. I absolutely love the swans and the gold, so I'll link this journal in the description, and you can always use my code ANNABRUNS10 for 10% off at Archer and Olive. I'm going ahead and writing my name on the inside cover because I'm doing this setup a little out of order. I haven't done my full migration and initial journal pages yet, so I skipped the first few pages in this journal for that, and we're starting a little further in to get ready for July. So grab some tea or coffee, get cozy, and let's start journaling. This is some paper ephemera from Paper Monogatari, which I'm going to use throughout this setup. And first thing is I'm laying a base for a collage on the cover page on this right side using some of the paper from that set. These were from the Botanist Diary collection. I'm doing more of a junk journal scrapbook style for this theme rather than a lot of drawing. When I was trying to plan out July, I was thinking it'd be fun to incorporate a mood board somewhere to really embrace the summer vibes, the happy, outdoorsy, sunny feeling I get during this season. And then I thought, why not just make the whole setup basically my mood board? So each page, along with the functional components, is going to be decorated with kind of this vision board, mood board style of pictures of summer scenes and stationery materials that represent the vibes I want for this season. I definitely lean towards a more vintage, cottagecore, neutral and earthy tones type of look. We have some of the base elements glued down, so now I'm writing out July with this green Tombow Brush Pen. I'm going to add a little bit of style to the title by making the bottom half of the letters darker, and I'm adding a gray shadow. And I wrote this on some spare dot grid paper, so we're going to cut that out and put it in the foreground. I would say besides neutrals, green is my main color for this setup. I'll use some different greens for titles and highlights throughout the pages. This cover page is mostly just for vibes, but I am going to add a July calendar at the bottom, so when I'm looking at my dashboard, which will be on the left page, I can at least visualize the month. I like to do my setups in full week increments, so these July pages will actually encompass 5 weeks from Monday, June 30th to Sunday, August 3rd. And we're going to finish off the page with some pictures and washi tape. I'm pulling from some of my favorite tape sets to use in the spring and summer. This first one is the Morning Blush set from the Washi Tape Shop, which has 3 beautiful floral patterns in different colors. I'm going to be using the green and pink ones, and these are wide tapes, so I often cut them down and use them as smaller strips like you see here. The next set is the Cottage Charm tapes, also from the Washi Tape Shop, which perfectly embody the aesthetic of this whole setup. And as always, you can use my code ANNABRUNS10 to get 10% off your order at the Washi Tape Shop as well. The other main element to this theme is a bunch of summery pictures I found on Pinterest, which I made into stickers and I'm going to paste in throughout the pages. This is where it really starts to feel like a mood board, and I had a lot of fun going through Pinterest and choosing images that match the feeling of what I love about summer. I made these into stickers using my Liene PixCut S1 machine, and Liene is so kindly the sponsor of today's video as well. I've worked with them on my channel many times before because the PixCut is seriously one of my favorite journaling tools ever. If you guys aren't familiar with it yet, the PixCut S1 is an all-in-one tool for making stickers at home, aka this one machine both prints and cuts your stickers. So much more convenient than needing a separate printer and cutter. It connects via Bluetooth to your device, and you can use Liene's free smartphone app to do all the design work of creating your sticker sheet. The color on these stickers is incredibly vivid and clear, and as you can see, it uses a 4-layer printing process with automatic lamination at the end that ensures the stickers are waterproof, fade resistant, and scratch resistant. And now it just sends the sheet over to the other side of the machine and starts the cutting process. I've been really happy with the precision of the cuts, from simple shapes like these squares to really complex shapes like you guys will see in the next sticker sheet I'm about to print. It can handle it all, and you can decide in the app how close you want the cut to be to the actual image. Now let's print my next set of stickers for this July setup. This is the Liene photo app, and you can either use one of their pre-made templates or work with your own blank canvas. The upload feature is great for printing your own images or artwork, and the app also has a vast collection of their own 10,000 plus free images and templates. So I'm also going to use some of their flower stickers. And you can customize your own text in here as well with different fonts, sizes, and colors. As you can imagine, this tool is useful for so much more besides journaling. Any craft where you would want to customize your own labels or stickers. And one of the most convenient features is when you're ready to print, the app uses AI image recognition to determine the cut lines. There's no manual tracing or telling the machine where to cut. Liene also updated their sticker paper to be even more adhesive, so if you're doing other crafts, the paper can stick to a variety of surfaces. I decorated my water bottle with a bunch of pictures of my cats. Is that not the cutest thing ever? I will link this PixCut S1 in the description box below if you want to check it out, and thank you so much to Liene for sponsoring this video. Now back into the journal. Like I mentioned, this left page will be my dashboard for the month, which is basically my monthly to-do list and where I'm keeping track of a few different larger projects. I'm pasting in these summer photos first. I'm writing the title with a Tech brush pen, and I'll do a little shadow with a fine liner to make it stand out a bit more. I was so much more loose with my materials and colors in this setup. A lot of times when I collage, I choose only a certain number of brush pen colors and washi tapes and fonts, etc. that I'm going to use so that everything is super cohesive. But for these pages, I just kind of used whatever I wanted from my whole stationery collection. I knew my general aesthetic, and if a certain material fit in with that, then I grabbed it. This was a little more chaotic and made my desk a lot more messy, but it was also a little freeing that I wasn't trying to be perfectly matching. And I have been wanting to give my journal a little bit more of a casual feel. I want to be able to scribble in the margins and cross things out and make mistakes and not worry about messing up the page by using it. And I can do that a lot more easily when the page is already a little messy, if that makes sense. So the 3 sections for this dashboard are tasks. This is my normal monthly to-do list. Home for a few renovations we're working on in our house right now, and baby for all the baby prep we're doing. In case you missed the announcement last month, I am expecting a baby boy in August with my husband. We are so excited and definitely at the height of scrambling to get everything done before baby arrives. I knew there were going to be quite a lot of home and baby related tasks to write here, so I'm actually using some tip-ins to give myself more space for these sections. You saw for home, I pasted in the grid paper by folding over one side and just taping in that little edge. So this paper flips out and I can continue writing notes or tasks behind it. I'm doing something similar for the baby section, but on dot grid paper with a different border and this little leaf design in the corner. And I'm using my corner stamp to round out the corners too. I made the tip-in part first on a separate piece of paper, and then I'm going to create the same exact design actually on the page. Then I'll use some washi tape to tape down one of the sides on the inside so it attaches the tip in, but I can easily flip it open and the tape isn't too obstructive. I don't typically use tip-ins a lot, but I may need to start incorporating them more because these were really easy and it triples the amount of space I have for each of these sections. Also, it gives such a fun, interactive, and 3D feel to the journal. I really like this dashboard setup too when I have multiple projects and lists to keep track of. So I'm finishing off the page with some more washi tape. This is another floral wide tape from that morning blush set, and I'm using some stickers from Leela Journals. I love this neutral rose sheet and her butterfly dot stickers. These neutral dots are the perfect thing to fill any empty space or when you just need one more layer. That completes my dashboard and cover page. Now moving on to my calendar for the month, and I am going to be doing a normal calendar layout instead of log. This is probably quite jarring if you've been following along with me because I've been doing the same log format every single month since I think last August, so a full year. But in the summer, and especially right now with everything going on, we just have a lot of events and project deadlines to keep track of. And when I have a ton on my calendar, it's easier for me to visualize each week in this classic calendar format. But before I get to the actual calendar, I'm titling the page July and adding some stationery at the top. I started out with some of the Botanist Diary papers and used my stencil set to get this serif font for the title. I'm going to add gray shadows like I did on the cover page as well, which you can't really see that well, but I do think it helps the letters stand out. I'm going to add a few more things to frame the title, and then we'll draw the calendar and then add the last touches of decoration. Doing this more scrapbooky junk journal style got me thinking of keeping a dedicated scrapbook or memory journal for our baby, especially in the newborn phase. I'm wondering if I could somehow combine a scrapbook that has the opportunity to journal in, but also with just photo album-like pages to insert in printed pictures if I don't have time to journal. I know life is about to get a lot more hectic and keeping up with a scrapbook won't always be possible. So let me know if you have kids or any sort of scrapbook, if you have recommendations for me. So now I'm drawing out the calendar here and highlighting the first row in each box where I'll write the dates. Like I mentioned, I like planning in complete weeks within each of my monthly setups. So most of my months contain 4 weeks, but some do have 5 when the dates work out, like with July. So I'll include these 5 full weeks for all the trackers and weeklies and everything included in this setup, even though there's a few days that aren't technically July. I'm also adding a color key on the side so I can mark all the different calendar items. I have categories for YouTube due dates, baby-related events and appointments, personal, and when we're hosting visitors. The one thing I totally forgot to put on this page is labeling the days of the week. Normally that would go above the calendar, but honestly there wasn't a lot of room anyways. I think instead what I want to go back and add is an additional highlight over Saturday and Sunday so I can at least easily visualize the weekends. I'm finishing off the decoration with more pictures and tape and another little leaf drawing in the bottom left. I love bringing in at least something hand-drawn because that mix of stationery alongside my own doodles I think looks really good, even if the doodles are incredibly simple. Moving on to our last pages before my weekly start, This left side is for a spread I haven't done before, at least in this exact way. I'm titling it Highlights, and I totally forgot to write the T, so I'm going back and fixing that. This is just a place to write some positives down throughout the month or at the end of the month. I'll talk about where I got the idea for this in a second, but I'm also going to go ahead and title the right page, which will be for an exercise plan. I do not like how my calligraphy looks in these titles, and I tried to be okay with it for the longest time, but you'll see towards the very end of these pages, I end up changing up the whole top area of the pages because it was really bothering me so much. Now that I'm looking at it while editing this video, it totally looks passable, but I do think what I did at the end looks better. Anyways, back to the highlight spread. I'm making 3 main sections here: things I'm grateful for, successes or accomplishments for the month, and favorites. I'm excited about the favorites category because I don't normally have a place to record stuff like that in my journal, but I'm envisioning writing any favorite music I was listening to in July, or a favorite book or recipe, or anything that I was really enjoying this month. I think that'll be fun to look back on, and I love that this spread encourages me to think of the positives to record for the month overall. These past few months, I've kind of been in a bit of a creative rut. I haven't felt super inspired. My journal and creative projects were starting to feel more like chores, and that's okay. I think any artist can't go through life without experiencing some periods of that. But I actually sat down and watched some other YouTubers plan with me videos. And it's funny because I actually don't watch hardly any other bullet journal content on YouTube. I used to watch it all the time, which is what inspired me to create my own channel. But when I started making videos, I guess I spend so much time on them, I lost the pull of watching more journaling content. But anyways, I finally watched a few videos before sitting down to create this setup, and it was like the creative medicine I needed. It was so relaxing to watch a plan with me as a viewer, and so inspiring, and kind of got me out of my own journaling bubble. It was like I had forgotten that people plan and journal in such different ways. But I finally got that feeling again of wow, now I have so many new ideas that I want to try, that I'm excited to try. And it just reminded me how fun it is to watch other people create. And that's why I even make these videos in the first place. So that was so refreshing and gave me the little boost I was needing. I was mainly watching a few older videos from T and Bujo. If you haven't seen her channel, definitely check it out. I love her journal and art. So her videos is where I got the idea to do this highlight spread, and I'm also going to adapt how she does some of her weeklies. Again, it was just so nice to have that feeling of being excited to try new ideas. And that's really the whole point of this journaling community online, so we can all share inspiration and motivation, and apparently I needed to be reminded of that. Okay, so we are well into this exercise spread now. I made a calendar to track the prenatal exercise program I'm following. So I wrote out the workout videos for each day, and I'm also using this to track walking as well. So that's in the key. I only have 5 workout videos per week, so I'm not sure why I decided to include 6 boxes per week. Maybe because I was thinking I wanted to record my walks on that 6th day, and Sunday is normally a rest day. I also totally forgot that July is a 5-week month in my journal, so I'm missing the last week here, but that's okay. I guess I just won't have a tracker for that specific week. And now you can see that I'm completely redoing the title and top section of these pages. I just really could not like how it looked before and had to change it. So I went back to that stenciled serif font and I'm going to paste these titles over what I already had. Most of the time I try to make peace if a spread doesn't turn out as good as I wanted, but sometimes I just have to change it if I know something's going to bother me every time I flip back to it. Okay, now on to our last spread for this setup, my first weekly of July. I'm starting off how I normally do with a mini calendar in the top left with the week we're on highlighted, but the rest of this weekly is going to be a completely different format. And I also decided to start labeling my weeks by how many weeks pregnant I am, because the countdown to the baby is basically how I tell time right now. This format is another idea I got from Tian Bujo. I'm going to use 4 pages for this weekly, and all my daily sections for the week will be in columns on the bottom 2/3-ish of the pages. I'm drawing those out now and doing a gingham pattern on top as a backdrop to labeling the days of the week. Light colored gingham definitely feels very summery, very picnicky to me. I'm going to do the rest of the week on the next 2 pages, so I'm creating a Dutch door on this right side to keep the weekly connected. I like using an X-Acto knife to cut the page close to the spine, and I'm using my corner punch to round out the edge here. So as you can see, the top thirds of these pages are always visible, and that's where I'm going to put some habit trackers for the week. I'm finishing off my dailies on this left side here and then using the whole right side column for my weekly task list. We have some pretty long to-do lists right now, and also I need to write down even the smallest things so I don't forget them. So I wanted plenty of space for this section. I did the gingham in gray so it would look a little different too. And since there is plenty of space, I thought I could also add a little collage in the corner. I'm actually going to use an image I recently took in my own house of some flowers that I thought were looking especially pretty in the sunlight. And I think for the rest of these weeklies, as I make them throughout July, I'm going to try to use my own images for decoration, both because that makes it more into a memory, and I also want to remind myself that my own life can be just as beautiful as all those aesthetic pictures on Pinterest. I might not have a cute vintage bike with a basket full of flowers, but I can stop and appreciate going on a walk in my neighborhood, getting flowers for the kitchen table, serving a pretty meal. And I'm adding the quotes I printed earlier. I realized I totally forgot that I wanted to put one of these on the highlight spread, so I'm flipping back to do that. As you guys saw, I forgot to record making my habit tracker, but that's up on the right side. I'll check off each habit on its corresponding row and day if I complete it. I'm finishing off the top of the spread with another picture and leaf drawing, and that will complete this bullet journal setup. We'll do a final flip through in a second. I am so happy with how this setup turned out. It might be one of my favorites that I've done in a while. I loved the casual summer vibes, and it was nice to get that new wave of inspiration and try out some new spreads. I'll keep you guys updated as far as content plans post-baby, but I have already made some progress on prepping some videos to go out in the fall. So hopefully you can still expect my monthly setups to come out as normal, even while I'm taking a bit of a maternity leave. Thank you guys so much for watching and your support as always, and I'm wishing you a beautiful start to July.